Okay, so now we are at lunch break. So, yeah, it's already 1 p.m. See, time flies. We have an hour of time here. Now, everyone who is a panelist, everyone who is a speaker here, feel free to just unmute yourself and we can just talk about whatever you want for a whole hour. This is kind of like the fun whatever zone. Feel free to interact with chat, people in chat. Feel free to just type up a storm and whatever. Usually the conversations just wander off into all sorts of things. Feel free to share screens. If you want to like share your screen and like point out a link or whatever. But yeah, have fun. Go get some food, get some snacks, take a break. And I'll see you guys in an hour. Where's my temporary slide? No. Feel free to like, you can share over this, but I have just a slide.
I love that you if you look at Justin's stream or his camera feed, you can see him playing Nekopara right now.
Why did that go fire? Just chilling out. That is awesome. All right. I gotta go get some food somehow. But otherwise, yeah, how's everyone doing? How's this conference been? It's been crazy.
I definitely wasn't playing Nekopara a few minutes ago. So
It's
I
like
can't.
surprisingly how it has really good cinematography.
Oh yeah, of course it does, It's using Live 2D. Um and this it's the basis for a lot of like more modern styled visual novels with animation. So I mean it is what it is, but it's definitely something to inspire to. I'm not sure streaming it through your camera is it is a safe for work version, right?
I mean, so long as he
This
doesn't
is
scroll
this is a
too
loop.
Oh, is it? Okay. I can't really tell. I can't really make out the details. I could just see chocolate and vanilla.
They're currently fighting for your affection.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that this is just a loop and not not what I was worried about.
that would have made my editing in YouTube much more difficult. Just blew half the screen when this part comes up. What is going on in chat? Let's see here.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's been relatively calm today. Chat. I'm sure some point we're gonna get a talk or two that's just gonna be inspire. Oh yeah. Chat is relatively calm. Like in previous years, we've had a couple of talks, I think early on, that kind of inspired a lot of memeing and joking, and it kind of spreads. So I think we've had a calm start to this conference.
Yeah, this is pretty slow compared to previous years.
Uh,
Um I think it's also smaller because like
a little smaller, yeah.
yeah. I don't remember how many we had last year, but
Last year,
62 definitely feels like it's a smaller number.
last year was, I mean, every year we usually get some like ticket sales and attendees and whatever, somewhere around 90 to 100, give or take. Some people don't show up, so it's hard to get a good count. So this year we're, I think, at 70-ish. So we're like 20 people short. And then, have a couple of people who are very active on chat in that group. And so it's a little bit calmer. But given how this year was a bit of a chaos fest for everyone, it's kind of okay. We survived. We got here. That's good. I'll take it. Oh man, super hot. I wish the Northeast US, well, much of the East and South of US also is kind of freezing cold right now. So
My pipes keep freezing over. It kind of sucks.
right now the thermostat is set at 55 because it's like I'm essentially pumping money into the air, so I don't want to pump as much money into the air. Oh.
Global warming is just your furnace.
I'm yeah, just warming the outside at this point with this leaky house. And there's an air compressor going by, which by the power of noise cancellation, you guys don't hear. Let me
Yeah,
turn
right.
that off for a second. There we go. So this is what it sounds like right now in my universe. I'll put it back. So yeah, the AI noise cancellation thing is pretty amazing.
Is that Hannibal? It is.
Very important example for a close-up.
Oh wow.
Is the close-up.
It's a very good close-up.
Yeah.
Inspires many people like me.
Power of the 3D camera.
This is the best close-up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've actually almost got VMC working in RenPy. I've been working on it for a couple weeks.
Wait, oh, that is
Video
terrifying.
motion capture. So you could do live 2D through, rather VTubing through RenPy. Connect it
Oh.
up to VTube Studio and do it through there.
Wow.
Be really useful for capturing motion directly into RenPy, so you can animate things directly in RenPy.
That's cool.
Fun.
I'm having a problem with the network side of it, so
Oh.
what's got me stuck, but I'll have
What's
to
the
sort it
problem?
out probably in about a week.
What's the problem with the network side?
I don't know how to do it, mostly.
I-
The problem is the thread, I'm having to multi-thread it. And that doesn't go well it hasn't been going very well. So
Okay. Yeah, there's a function, runby.invoke thread that starts a thread up in the background for you. That might help you out.
okay.
And
Do you have
you're
like a link
allowed
to it or
it's in the docs, but let me find it. And you are allowed to call restart interaction from another thread, which might help you out a bit.
yeah, that's probably what I'm looking for. Because I can start a different thread in Python like directly, which is what I've been doing,
Yeah.
but the problem is getting everything back into RenPy.
Yeah, in that case, you just want run by restart interaction, and
Okay.
it'll and that should be thread that one is thread safe.
Okay, yeah, I know other people have done network connections with RenPy, so I know it's possible. So I've been kind of like digging around trying to figure out how they did it, but
Yeah.
But once that's settled, though, the VMC stuff should be it's almost done. So it's not going to be as, as in depth as VTube Studio, but the fact that you could do it in RenPy means you could capture stuff in RenPy and build animation files directly using RenPy in the toolset and avoid having to make
Motion
animation
capture
files.
for RenPy. Never thought
Yeah,
we'd go
way too
there.
far away.
Well, it's not really okay. So RenPy is not going to be doing actually RenPy is doing the motion capture, but it's not doing the actual translation from the camera into code. It's taking that information that's already being captured by vBridger. And,
I get that, but just like never thought people would do motion capture as a technique for developing. Just never thought of it.
I mean, it definitely happens in other game development. So, but I guess it's probably wasn't on the radar for Live 2D, but
yeah,
it has been. The advert game that we've been developing for Spooktober, I used motion capture to grab a couple of the girls' expressions. So, and I can do that through Unity just fine because VTube Studio was made in Unity and it's just all the same shit. But you can't do that in RenPy yet, and I think I think I was talking to Justin or somebody else who was having a problem getting like more discrete movements or rather individualized movements for live 2D models in RenPy. I was like, why wouldn't you just like edit the parameter and change it on the fly? Apparently there was some kind of issue with that. I forgot what it was. That's what started it though. So I've been like cooking on it for like probably over a year now, but I just like started working on it maybe a couple weeks ago. Are you just watching videos or movies now
Yeah,
through?
everyone's kind of idly watching Justin's like micro loop stream.
I had these prepared. Okay, somehow I went faster.
January getting more busy. Like there's been like I keep hearing about more game jam things going on. And like other events and stuff. Like it used to be January was a very quiet part of the year.
Yeah, I decided to change that. So
Damn it.
I we're almost at the point where we're running a jam almost at every point of the year at this point. So it's pretty close.
Wow.
January is now SWAC Jam, Sealed with a Kiss Jam. NVNA is in February, which is only 2 weeks rather than the full month. That's for all the asset creators. We don't host NRNO, but we do support it. So, that runs in March. I think April is like it's in April. Something's in April.
Something's in April. Oh, all right.
I think
Yeah.
Atome Jam is in May and June, or maybe it's June and July. And then
Wow.
August is like all prep work for Spooktober. And then because I'm completely bogged down by August. And then September is Spooktober, and then we're judging in October.
Yeah, summer is always extremely busy.
I'm not sure if that's my network screwing up, if that's you, because you're cutting up. It might be me.
No, it was him.
Okay.
All the convention things anyway, so everyone's kind of rough. Started as I picked January because it was like, hey, no one prepare, and now the schedule. Anyone have a good lunch or snack or something going on?
I'm closer to dinner than lunch.
I'm still in the breakfast zone.
I think my wife took the kid out to get food and they haven't come back, so I have failed in the whole having food prepared for the event department.
At least you have a floor.
Yeah, I have half a floor. They're installed the other half, so. I am hearing the nail guns go off right now above my head.
That's great because we can't hear it.
Yeah. I mean, I can serenade you guys with the chaos of construction, but I don't think you guys want to hear it. So.
No, I'm good.
I've been through that.
Yeah. Living in a construction zone. Not even joking. We spent 5 months now, I think, with like in one bedroom, taped everything with the doors taped over with
Yeah.
plastic peel.
Yeah.
I mean, the dust still gets in, but
That's basically what happened to us last year, all year. They were doing the outside of the building, but like
Oh my
took out the windows and the door midwinter.
Oh, the midwinter
Patio.
part's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh.
My poor roommate was working in the living room when they took off the patio door at the coldest day, wearing a jacket, trying to do their work.
Oh my god.
So
We
sad.
see. We thought we were smart. We started the project like in summer, like late summer. We're like,
Yeah.
a couple of months, it should be fine. And then they took out a whole back wall, and then like the back wall was just a blue tarp for a solid 3 months, and then we're like,
Oh,
it's autumn. Hey guys,
please, guys. It's
need some
cold.
rain here. Oh, I mean, we got heat installed just like a week before things went below freezing. So,
Oh,
Mm,
oh man.
well, that's something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh well. Yeah.
that does remind me of That does remind me of my landlords in one of my old apartments were doing like bed bug treatments for the entire building on the hottest day of summer. So the prep for bed bug treatment is you put your thermostat to 90 degrees.
No. No.
So we just had to sit there with in a 90-degree apartment when it was also 95 degrees outside. And then they kicked us out for the entire afternoon. So it was an experience.
That sounds like
At
the
that point, it's easier
worst.
just like not be there.
I was just gonna say, I mean, at that point, turn off your thermostat and leave the door open and walk out. Just leave.
Yeah.
Just let
I
the
would-
bed bugs have free reign.
I would definitely rather be freezing than warm like that.
I
Ugh.
mean, the stuff that kills bed bugs is definitely going to kill everything else that crawls into the house. So I wouldn't be that worried about it. Because you don't need a team of people to usually dispose of, like, I don't know, a caterpillar walking into your house.
Mhm.
So a bed bug treatment is typically fumigation, which is going to kill everything in the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they mostly what they do is they just try and either freeze them if it's winter, or if it's summer, they'll just like boil them. But boiling them only takes up to like 150 degrees, so it's like fine for most of your stuff, just not for humans or my small cat.
Or electronics.
No.
No, yeah. I had to take my computer and also like all of my electronics into the car, and we just went to like cafes for all day until they were finished. It was an experience, but there weren't any bed bugs afterwards. So like, I
Least
guess
it
I'll give them
worked.
that. I'll give them that.
I mean, go through all that and you still have bed bugs in it.
Yeah, that would be
I'd want my money
a lot.
back
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
at the very least.
Oh man, happy we have never had to deal with bed bugs. Hopefully it
Mm-mm.
stays that way.
I have been fortunate in that regard. I have never had bed bugs.
Yeah, same.
Mm. Oh, Aggie, is it too late to send out one of our tickets to someone who wants to join in for the later sessions?
Ping me their email and I will send the thing because I'm
Okay, I ping you in the webinar chat, or would you rather on Discord?
hold on, let me find. Okay, Zoom, where the hell is your thing? One second. I hate the reason why we don't use Zoom chat is because Zoom chat is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. So I don't even see you sending me anything. So all right, do it in Discord.
Yep. Thank you.
Utter garbage. Okay, hold on here. No, I mean Discord's chat option is also pretty garbage. So let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I'm gonna make everyone's life easier. Computer lagging. It's amazing I have internet still and they're like doing all this work. So, all right.
I mean, they're not drilling into your cable box, right? Or
Oh my god.
in your modem or whatever it is you're using.
I had to run the fiber terminal is actually outside of the house, and I had to run the cable up inside the house myself because like the electrician was like going to charge me $300 to run a couple of Cat 6 lines. I'm like, God, the walls are open. I've got a drill. No.
Yeah,
It's highway robbery.
Yeah.
that is a lot of money for running any kind of cat cable.
Yeah, it's like it's low voltage. I can terminate this stuff, man. It's fine.
Yeah, the electrician, like, there's like zero risk. You could chew on a plugged-in Cat 5 or Cat 6 and be fine. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend it, but like, it's not gonna shock you. It's not gonna do
Yeah.
anything to you.
Right.
At this point, I'm not even afraid of doing like normal lighting, electricity. Like if they let
Yeah,
me.
some of those have a pretty good mouthfeel.
Oh yeah. You get a little buzz out of it. Okay. How?
It's
Yeah, the
like-
ones
yeah,
with
it's like-
the plastic core.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's like, listen,
VNConf
my
is still
cat,
choosing left, people.
my cat has to be onto something. Otherwise, why would she keep chewing on them?
The cat
Very-
also chooses left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I
Mhm.
put
It's a joke only you old heads will get.
that? So I need to paste this here. Okay, and then I have to export this sheet. There's like the steps for doing maintaining this list is so annoying. So I have to like save it into a spreadsheet, have it into a CSV, throw it into the invitation thing, and import the thing.
I think it was like 3 years ago, Wolf, maybe 4.
Like there's an
She-
API, but the API is like annoying to set up. All right, so that person should have an invite thingy sent it. Oh.
I honestly can't remember, Wolf. I just remember how like she didn't expect anyone to repeatedly choose death. So, and that was very
Oh,
funny when we repeatedly chose left to die.
Oh yeah, Earl Grey.
Yeah, Earl Grey.
I'm blanking on the speaker's name. But yes. That was when the chat got really chaotic.
Yeah, I think that our positive exterior definitely was working to convince people that we were a mostly positive bunch, but deep down inside we're all despairing. So
Yep. Deep down we're just like enter the
really
void.
miserable. Yeah.
Go in. Oh man. Game jam.
Also, it's funny.
Mhm.
That's the real reason we do anything, because it was funny.
Oh yeah. Of course. It's one of those things where it's like, come on, if you let Twitch chat or this chat have a choice, they're always going to pick the one that's going to be the one, the unexpected
The one that the
one that you
person
obviously do not
presenting
wanna
doesn't want,
one. Right.
because it will elicit
That's
the
why-
largest reaction. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why I loaded the choices in the options in my presentation so that it is impossible to choose anything else.
The illusion of choice.
Yes.
There's no free will in this.
Listen, my number one game dev tip from all my years of experience is I think lying to the player is one of the best things it's one of your best tools is lying to the player.
That is like such a fundamental tool. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every story is a lie to begin with, so why not?
I mean, I guess unless you're making a non-fictional visual novel,
No,
which
and
would be a
even then,
fascinating concept.
even then,
Even then it is.
because even then, it's still the perspective of the person, and it's not the whole truth. So it's still a lie in some technicality. But you know,
The lie is that you're presenting it as though it is entirely non-fictional as
yeah,
well.
that's some like really deep, like what is it?
That we're getting
Core
into like
logic, I guess.
some semiotics and epistemology there.
All right.
Has anyone ever seen the visual novel South Scrimshaw?
I've heard of it.
That is a very odd one because the setup is it's a nature documentary, except it's one set on alien planets was fictional, but like just a very interesting way of storytelling. That was one I just found just a really interesting presentation.
We did a mock
Yeah.
documentary for O2A2.
Oh, wait, what was it on?
Something really stupid. So anyway, so we Cody voices the nature documentarian who is studying one of the bot girls that we have here as like a subject, as if she were not sitting across from the table from them. So he is presenting it as if it is a documentary about bot girls and their wild habitat, and she's just like super annoyed that he's there. So that's the whole gag. It's only like 1,000 words. It's not super long, but Cody does a really good job narrating the over the top documentary person.
I think I've
Uh,
seen the GIF for that, but I haven't played it yet.
It's goofy. I found out recently that apparently it has like a tremendous number of views on it, despite the fact that I haven't really spoken about it in years. I like looked over at it the other day because I was setting up a project for my talk today, and I was like, why does this have like 17,000 views in like the last 2 months or something
Yeah,
stupid?
I want to play it. Is it web view only, or can you download it on desktop?
I I don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure if I have the original file still, but
Okay,
I think it is web view only.
all right,
But it's there if anyone wants to see it.
nice.
But I really love visual novels where the narrator is a distinct and separate character in the stories, whether they're, omniscient voices that,
Mm.
poke fun at the characters or what I don't particularly like it when it's like a first person character when it's a person who is not who's actually like in the scene or as part of the story. I like it when it's a separate kind of omniscient
Mm.
character. It's very funny.
It can also be fun to play with like a narrator whose identity is obscured by the way that you're presenting the narration. There are a lot of games I've played that do pretty good stuff with that. I mean, like the Roger Ackroyd style of presentation, even if it's not always an actual character present in the scenes.
It's yeah, Stanley Parable style narrator. Someone says
Mm.
in chat. Definitely, I love that. I just played the sequel that they released the other day. It's pretty good. This guy's such a good voice. A lot of jam teams do stick together at some like I mean a lot of them do, but I think most of them don't. For I think we've hosted probably like 30 game jams at this point, pretty close to it. Um and I think that Spooktober definitely winds up building lasting teams. We see a lot of teams like becoming studios after like either getting close to winning or winning. Um but a lot of the big teams that you see like coming up from, nothing at this point started in jams. So you can pay attention to like some of the earliest submissions that they make, rather the earliest like publications they make, and kind of get a sense of like where they started and where they're coming from. So it's always super like inspiring to see that kind of stuff.
I mean, if you could find people that are like, oh, someone that I can work well together with under time pressure, kind of latch onto these people.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that it can be a temporary thing also gets people's guards down, which is great for building relationships with other people. So, um, knowing that it's going to end very soon and going to end, kind of gives you the ability to try things out that you might not normally try with the expectation that it might last years. So,
Mm.
just why jams are really great for, starting teams and piloting new ideas and not just that, but piloting relationships too with new teams. So,
Mm. Definitely.
last year I met, if you know the game Peglin, I met the team that made that game, and they've been working on it for I think 3 or 4 years. And originally it
nice.
was a game jam, a local tiny little game jam that's run in my town. So really, it depends on the game. I think that one was so successful and did so many new things that people encouraged them to stay together and like really buff it out.
I have to ask Iron how many game jams we've actually hosted. She would know. Are you here, Iron? Probably not.
I thought I
Oh.
saw her earlier.
I know she's in chat, but like I don't know if she's in the the conference.
Oh, no. I mean, I can give out channelist access to people if you want them to speak.
No, I mean it's not. I wasn't asking Iron to speak. I was trying to see if they were in chat.
Oh, they're
so-
responding? Yeah.
Yeah. Iron. Oh,
Oh, there.
Iron's been managing our wiki almost exclusively, pretty close to exclusively, and there's a pretty massive list of game jams that we have on it. So I was asking if you happen to know off the top of your head because you've been following the jam stats, how many jams that we've done, like total. Counting 0282, Otome, well, Otome Jam may or may not count. It depends on whether or not Ari wants to give that to us. Yeah. I mean, we still support it. We can count it. It's in one of those weird like limbo states where a lot of people associate it with Dev Talk, but it's actually not ours specifically. NaNoRenO too, but it's definitely that one's definitely not ours. I get the feeling that for VN's narrative designer and director end up frequently being the same role. Yeah, yeah, probably. To be honest with you, like there's a lot of people wearing many hats in VN Dev. The
Yeah,
writer is also sometimes the programmer and also sometimes the artist and also sometimes the director and a bunch of other things.
yeah, I tend to be primarily I'm a project manager in like my day job, so I fall into that in jam teams too. And that also, being the project manager also makes it very easy to be like a lead on other aspects because you're coordinating all the schedules and tasks and things.
And PM's also like person who does the thing when there's a gap and we can't find someone to fill that gap.
Yeah, and that means that you tend to end up making some calls about certain design choices that, like if you're not the director, it can, yeah, project management is great though. I think that people should look into project management. This is not part of my talk or anything. I just think that it's good and useful as long as you're not like, suffocating yourself with all the terms like making sure you're meeting your KPIs and making the value added proposition increase and whatnot.
So I pushed all kinds of like different professional roles through Dev Talk like to kind of promote stuff like that. I mean, you probably know, but we've been pushing voice actors, getting more voice actors involved. And project management is one of those things where, like, I think in theory, we really want to push a lot, but a lot of people don't know what that looks like for visual novels. Many people don't even know what that looks like for games. So, if you do have
Yeah.
an idea on how to approach that from a visual novel side, that is definitely something people would probably want to hear about. Maybe.
What does it look like? It looks like
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Yeah,
It looks like spreadsheets. Shut up, Patchy.
it doesn't always look like spreadsheets. I mean, like I think one of the biggest things for me has always been like figuring out what works for each jam team that you're part of. Like some jam teams actually do work best with spreadsheets and other times it's you have to set up different systems. But I think the thing with project management and game dev is that a lot of times the things that are project management just get absorbed by other people on other teams who don't really like know that they're doing project management. So yeah, I'll think about that. I'll put something together.
Iron confirmed with that. We've run 26 separate jams, so I was close. I said 30.
Terrifying number.
Which one will be our 30th? Do you know? Because they're all like chronologically done. We should make it a big deal. Because I think next we have NVNA, which will be our 27th. 28th, if we are counting Atome Jam and O2A2. We're definitely counting O2A2, but I don't know about Atome Jam, but it would be O2A2 would be our 28th, 29th. I think Atome Jam and Jose Jam would be our 30th. Oh, okay, so MVNA is counted in that, even though it hasn't run yet. Okay. So it'd probably be actually this Booktober might wind up being the 30th jam we've run. That'd be pretty cool. I gotta court more sponsors for that. Holy shit, that's great. Okay. That's cool. We're actually doing really well for sponsorships too, and for jams in general. O2A2, not O2A2. MBNA has 4 already. I'm talking to a potential 5th, but so yeah, we're definitely gonna have runner-up prizes for MBNA. I'm thinking either $25 for like the next 10 people, or I don't know. I don't know how I want to split it. I like giving more stuff to more people, but I'm trying not to make mega prizes like I do for Spooktober. I think that stresses people out, honestly. I could do categories too. Someone was like, "Hey, what if we do categories?" Like, we don't have any categories yet because I don't have any money, but now I do. An award ceremony for MVNA? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't have enough time to prep it because the submission voting period is the last 2 weeks of February, and I would have to prep it, and then I won't even know who the winner will be because there's no like internal deliberation like there is with Spooktober. So I'd be basically putting it together the day of, and people would already know the results. So there's almost no point in doing an award show because everyone would already have the results. So I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe for Swag Jam next year. I don't know. That one's actually been really hard to get sponsors for because I'm super afraid of PayPal looking at the fact that we accept not safe for work stuff and then canceling our entire account because of it. It's totally
Yeah,
something PayPal would do.
they would.
I wound up having to turn down all the potential sponsors for it, which really sucked. But
Mm.
yeah, PayPal sucks.
Yeah, I remember I did actually manage to get my PayPal account, like my name on it changed, and the process was so nonsensical because after I'd gotten on my name change like documentation and my new driver's license and everything, they just sent back first time, sorry, this driver's license is unclear and we can't read it, and it's like the glossiest high def 1040p JPEG scan of a driver's license ever.
It's
PayPal's
probably
wild.
the ancient machine couldn't resize it, and they're like, I can't. I only see a quarter.
Yeah, I literally just like cropped it and sent the exact same image, and they're like, "Okay, we've got it. Thanks. We'll make this work."
I guarantee you that's like some automation trying to read it.
Oh yeah.
It probably saw like the grain on your table or something. It's like, I can't read this. This isn't real. This isn't a real ID.
It's designed for potato cameras.
It honestly is, yeah. It's crazy because like the tech that they use for like reading checks, like for like mobile deposits for banks is super primitive. Like it is truly caveman style image
Oh, yeah,
processing,
yeah,
but
'cause,
it's
like,
still accepted and more reliable than 90% of the ID readers that people have been using.
But that's because they, developed the specific fonts for it and everything. It's like totally 1980s tech.
Yes, that's probably true.
They
That might
probably
be
also
why.
back it up. Do they back it up with just people that read like the hard cases like they do at the post office?
Mm-hmm.
I know
Yeah,
in the post office they have like if the machines can't read, let's send it to a center and someone just keys in
Yeah,
what the address is.
my company has like a review team, which not specifically for like just deposits, but I mean there's a manual review process for everything because all banks need that kind of regulatory stuff. But um, so there, I mean, like our but like they so seldom actually need to do it. You know, our review team is composed of like 5 people, and half the time they're reviewing ACH stuff more than they are like deposits from checks. Of course, ACH is fraught with fraud, so you laugh like you know, and I'm sure you do.
I mean, yeah.
God, so one of our earliest sponsorships, because we do business internationally, right? So one of our earliest sponsorships was Red Laika Games, which is based in Spain, and we got an international ACH from them, and our bank lost its fucking mind over it. And I'm like, they're sending me money. What the fuck are you complaining about?
It's this international ACH. They don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah,
What's
they're
it-
just like, there's money coming in from a foreign company, and what are you doing? And I'm like, literally nothing. I'm like, they're giving you money. Why do you care?
Uh, no, they're complaining because like now there's like 20 federal forms they gotta fill out. So
That might be true. Yeah.
that's all.
I know it was a smaller sum than the Patriot Act cares about. So
It's
like
only
we've
for
never
big
even
units that they
gotten
care.
close to having to worry about the Patriot Act deposit limits, but
Yeah,
one of these years will be that big, but not this year.
yeah. Oh,
Maybe.
speaking of fun idea that I bubbled into my mind, and this was what I was going to talk about with as a filler talk if someone happened to drop out, was that
Me, if I happen to drop out,
no comment on placeholder talk.
that's
But
fine.
the idea was like, hey, what if we had like an industry like like a industry survey for people who to survey people who buy visual novels, who the hell are you kind of survey, right? It's one of those things where it's like any individual brand, individual developer could send out a survey to their customers, and then they know about people who buy only their stuff. And that's not particularly interesting, right? It's like people who buy your stuff will continue to buy your stuff. But as an industry collectively, if we all sent it to all of our customers at once and shared the information and got something out of it, wouldn't that be kind of cool? Right?
So I'm gonna counter what you said that it's not interesting, and I was gonna say that that is the most interesting thing that you can do,
Yeah.
because so people don't buy visual novels because they're visual novels. They buy visual novels because of the topics that are in the visual novels. So like sometimes they want really cute girls, sometimes they want people kissing, sometimes they want space guns, you know, stuff like that. Um, so
But
like
what I'm saying is that
correlating it
there is a
across a bunch of people is a
unknown
great
about
idea
the
though.
distribution of, for example, people who want A over B or C or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like there's some things that are interesting at a industry-wide level, and there's obviously a lot of interesting things about it at the individual, like, this is your genre, your niche level, right? People who want to do research on their own customers can obviously do that on their own, but there is no clearinghouse for a central industry-wide kind of viewpoint. Now, if we wanted to do such a thing with let's say, extra budget from VNConf sales, the question becomes, what kind of questions do we want to know and ask about these people, if we were going to do this? And I'm kind of drawing a blank, but it's like, hey, because I'm kind of
Isn't data like your thing?
what
Isn't that like what you do?
What was that?
I'm just being mean to you. I'm sorry. I was just saying, isn't data like your thing?
Data is my thing. User research is my thing. That's why I bring it up. It's like, well, I don't know what you guys care about particularly, but if we all get together and say put together a 20-question survey of some sort, and we all agree to collectively blast it out, and since I don't have any interest in like keeping this, I can be the guy that just like collects the information, anonymizes it, and then generates a data set so that everyone can go share it as a public resource, or at least an industry resource. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Yeah.
The question is like, we need to get a couple of people together to like write out the survey and kind of like do it, right? So
yeah, and writing out good survey questions is a difficult thing, as I know from my day job.
Oh yeah, same here. So it's like, hey, if people are interested, we can get like 4 or 5 or whatever together, and we work on this thing collectively and do it. Like that would be kind of interesting.
All right, you're watching this, right? All right, you're here, right?
Well, yeah, whoever's up for doing that, come talk to me, send me an email, ping me somehow, and yeah, maybe we can go figure out something. Because it would be kind of cool, like a little mini research project that we send like sometime in the summer, I guess, because it's going to take us 3 months to go figure out questions that that aren't stupid. Survey questions are hard.
I'd certainly be interested in knowing like how many visual novels people play, or buy and play a year. That kind of numbers like
yeah. Like, who are you? Like, how many do you buy? What genre per character? In front,
the AI robot revolution's taking over.
Enough people, it would be kind of just.
We're getting IG signal is cutting.
Yeah, I think they're drilling into his fiber box.
Yeah, you've got to be careful when you're chewing on the fiber optic cables.
But yeah, so yeah. Yep. So anyways, some people like ping me here. I'm gonna throw together a sign up sheet or something, or actually, hold on. How am I gonna do this?
So
I think you're back now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here, undo.
Wolf says, I feel like I would play a lot more VNs if VNs were both mobile accessible, mobile designed. I'm hoping MVNA inspires someone to create a UI pack that is a mobile default pack for RenPy and some other engines. It was on one of my lists to do. I don't know if I'm going to get to it for MVNA or not, but getting a mobile specific default package for RenPy and other engines would be a really good idea. Because the common default for RenPy and 90% of the engines that I see don't really support mobile all that well. Well, they're not really designed for mobile, really.
Oh yeah, there's a handful that are meant for mobile and very weird.
Yeah. I mean, Godot is perfectly capable of handling it and does it pretty well. The problem is that you have to build a lot more in order to make that work.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you're still designing the UI is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Too. And so that's the same with Unity. That's the same with literally any other engine that can touch mobile for visual novels, because none of them have a default view for mobile, despite the fact that they can go to mobile very easily.
Like, are you talking portrait view or like the size of the text?
Portrait view and just a general design to be accessible to mobile users.
Because the default RenPy view is actually designed, I don't know how well it achieves this, but it's designed like it'll increase the text size and and things like that when it's running on
It's
a
the
phone or a low resolution.
the
but-
small screen variant, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
Yeah.
I don't to be honest with you, I feel bad for saying it now because I did not realize that you designed it for that, but it did not feel like it was designed for that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Fair enough.
So hopefully someone in MVNA will come up with a cool template to people can just drop in. To be honest with you, most people, will probably be better served by getting away from the default anyway. No offense, but like people recognize the default after so long, and
Mm.
it kind of
Yeah, I
like
mean, that-
sours the experience for some people. It has nothing
Yeah,
to
I
do
mean,
with the
that-
design.
I mean, not offended at all. I mean, it's very much there to get people, like the people who want to make their first game and get it out in, a day, have
Mhm.
something. Something has to be the default.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works very well for that. It's a absolutely solid foundation that also I think makes it more approachable. Like I remember the thing that was so intimidating to me about switching to Godot was like, oh, I've got to code my own save and load system. And like it wasn't actually that bad, but I would have never approached it had I not had like experience already. And so RenPy was a lot easier because like you've got saving and loading, it's all right there. The menu exists. It's like it works pretty smooth and reliably. That's pretty solid. That's great.
Yeah, to be honest with you, like, I started my VN development career in Unity before any of the plugins for it existed. So, I wound up having to code my own save and
Yeah.
load, my own text parser, a bunch of shit like that. And I learned a lot about like the back end of VN engine development from it. And I never regretted doing that, but I will never do it
Mm.
again. I am
Yeah.
very happy to use any novel in RenPy and Light VN and literally anything else someone will put in front of me so that I don't have to do it again. So I can comment now on the back end stuff and I can point out stuff, maybe improvements, but like I never want to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Feel that. I also feel the same after my time working in Unity. Yeah, Unity is a creature.
I mean, Unity specifically isn't the problem. It was the fact that I had to implement everything from scratch was the issue.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
any novel in Unity works great. Like I use it for the advert game, and I do stuff in RenPy for
Oh yeah. Nowadays, when we've got like, I think the more that community development and like assets and plugins and things.
I'm not sure where that's coming from.
No, but it did sound haunted, which I appreciate.
The ghost of Spooktober are already coming upon us. It's fucking not even February yet. Leave me alone.
Uh-oh. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find our next speaker.
I had someone just mention to me in a private chat, is VNConf today? I'm hoping it's not them.
Well, we're gonna find out in 7 minutes if they're not, if they're around.
Who's
or
our
not.
next speaker?
Pentagon
Oh,
W.
no. Yeah, Penta knows. Penta should know.
Yeah, well, I pinged them in normal chat, but I don't see them around, which is going to be one of those. Like, all right.
I think Penta has it. No. Penta's usually here during the conference
Here
itself.
early,
So I don't
so.
know.
Yeah, I mean, something may have happened at this point. We
No, I
will,
hope they're okay.
yeah. If something goes wrong, we will go roll with it.
I mean, we can extend our free chat here.
We totally could.
Maybe we can advocate for something. Who knows?
Yep.
Certainly
Maybe we
could
can
do-
shill stuff.
Oh boy, the shilling hour or 20 minutes.
I didn't do a bingo card this year. I'm so upset. I did not have time.
No, that's fine.
It's not fine. I mean, you might be okay with it, but I'm not. My
Maybe
standards are
then-
higher.
Maybe then that means that we can use that time to create a bingo card together.
Oh.
That would be chaotic.
Ad hoc.
All right, we
Bingo
could do
card.
a bingo card. Just someone pop up the bingo card maker.
I think the bingo card that I made before on the VNDev wiki is still there, but like it's not like new. It's not with fresh stuff. I think it still has a Twitter connection to it, even though the API is completely fucked.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah, it's still here.
What's everyone's favorite time-saving tool when they develop games or visual novels? I
Money.
like XN Convert. Use it to convert PNGs to WebPs to save space.
I'm gonna give you a serious answer and say money because paying other people to do stuff for me is fantastic.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I'm gonna second money.
Um, I will say that if you're not using Git, it is certainly the sort of tool that you want to be using. Like literally last night, I made a change to my talk and that broke something. And so being able to bisect and just like, did it work here? Did it work there? And just narrow down exactly what change it was that broke things is just, saves a lot of
Yeah.
time in debugging.
It's
Good
also
point.
really nice to be able to look at the log when you've got like a big team. Like one of the teams I'm coordinating right now has a lot of people on it, and a lot of people can contribute to the Git. And so like, you wake up and you want to see, okay, what changes did other people make? And it makes it very easy to look through and figure out exactly what's changed about all the different parts and what things have been done.
Hey, Tom, if Penta doesn't show up, how would you feel about showing people how to use Git?
I couldn't do a talk on it in just on the fly. I'd have to.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah,
steal part
unfortunately.
of my talk topic. But
Oh, is it?
um,
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
you can actually
yeah,
cut that
there's-
out because
'cause,
I was
like-
gonna go over time by like 2 minutes to cover the Git part.
Lay promised us a Git talk, I think like last year or the year before.
Yeah.
And we never got it. And I'm like, I still don't really know how to use Git, which is a shame because I program a lot. I do it professionally and I do it like casually. And I've always just like, I've written my own backup routines and I have like offsite storage for stuff. So I do it like the oldest possible way. But so I've like never actually used Git, which is crazy. So I need to
Yeah.
like learn how to use it, and it would be easier for someone taught me because I'm lazy.
Yeah, I have one of the sadly I think relatively common horror stories about what got me to start using GitHub, which is so in the script editor Atom, there's a particular vulnerability. I don't know if it still exists, but there was when I was coding one of my first games, where if your computer crashes or for example, there's a power surge that cuts your power off, at the moment that you're saving a project, it will corrupt the save file, but Atom also does not, like, it dumps its autosave. So you've just lost your entire project and your backup right there. And that
Oh,
happened
that's
to me, and I lost.
nasty.
Yeah, it happened to me, and I lost a week of work. And then I was like, it, I don't want to ever do that again. And so I learned to use GitHub.
Atom's not actively being worked on anymore, is it?
I don't
Yeah,
think
they
so.
yeah they shut it down. RunPy, by the way, does each time you make a change to a file, it will back it up into the RunPy saves directory. So like it actually in the background make backup of the script files.
Yes, that would have been helpful back then, but I don't think that I was coding it in RinPy at the time. I think I thought that I was being smart and organized by coding outside of the engine and then porting it into the engine.
Yeah.
But you learn with experience. Git is
Yeah.
extremely good, not even just for time saving, but for time loss prevention.
Disaster recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make backups. RunPy even tells you make backups each time you start the game.
Yeah, the girls have a automatic backup routine. I always forget to like back it up manually, but um every time that their host restarts, they issue a new version backup, even if they don't change. So I've got like 30 different versions on a cloud storage platform I could just go back to if I need to. I've actually had to do that a couple times. Not recently, thankfully, but we lost the previous host probably like a few months ago, and I was able to restore the girls from onto a different host because of that. But did not go well. We had some kind of power issue, blew the power supply, and I brought the hard drive over to a different device, and I forgot it was fucking encrypted. So
Oh, the joys of like having a backup and then going, oh,
fucking TPM modules and everything these days.
yeah, just like this wasn't, yeah, like selling backup products, and then half the customers don't do a test restore, so they're like
Yeah.
not really backed up. Okay, I'm gonna make a call here. Penta, are you around? If not, we're going to just extend the free talk time for another 20 minutes or so. What'll happen is that I will grab them later. Hopefully they're okay and nothing horrible has happened. But like if they're around, I will grab them and get a video off of them and just slide it into the records as if nothing has happened. But we'll figure that out.
Well, to make it up to everyone who's watching, there's a ton of experts here for a bunch of different disciplines. How about we just take free questions from anyone who's in the chat, and anyone who's got a mic can speak and answer them. How about that?
Cool. Let's just do massive QA.
Because we've got Renpai Tom here. I'm here, which, considerably less important than Tom, but still. We've got a bunch of other people who are like jam veterans who have been doing stuff. We have award-winning visual novelist here. Agi's here for what that's worth. Sorry if I have to rip myself, if I rip somebody else. Yeah. So how about what pressing questions does the crowd have?
We've got. I'm sure that the only thing is we don't have any voice actors this year. We used to we would have a bunch, but like aside from that, we have a lot of.
Yeah, that's crazy. We had 0 voice acting.
Yeah, I'm a little sad. I think there's another event that dragged them away. So
that might be what's going on. Yeah. So it looks like we have a couple of questions. QA, what's the best advice beyond just draw to learn drawing? There's definitely artists in here. I know you're here.
Someone who knows how to hold a pencil, please speak.
Okay, I'm gonna. So, my wife went to school for art stuff, and I do know that learning fundamentals is a great way to get some foundation and stuff. Drawing as practice is always great, but if you don't learn, why and how to make certain decisions, you're not going to ever be able to make certain decisions. And while you can pick it up over time, having guidance is not necessarily a bad idea. So, looking up tutorials, I know it sounds stupid, but looking up tutorials is probably not a bad idea. Watching other people draw, definitely not a bad idea. There are tons of Twitch streamers who do their art that you could actually ask live, why are you doing that? Why did you make the decision to use that? Why are the shadows cold and the lights hot? Like, what's that about? That sort of stuff. So, I'm not an artist, but I've been talking to artists for a long fucking time. So that's probably the best advice that I can give you if no other artists want to speak up.
I'll add, I can't draw for my life, but I do photography. And you can study things like composition, you can study framing, you can study shadows and light without having to pick up a pencil. So you can actually study aspects of art, and even just having those compositional skills will actually make things like your background and how you lay out your screen so much better if you know where to put things, so that doesn't have to be just drawing. So,
and that's a huge boon for scene direction too, for visual novels, because you can do compositions there too. You can do them like on my camera. Like, I'm over here. These are different compositions.
Yeah,
this
I was about to say, even like stage direction, sort of like training and things like that can be applied to how you set up things in a visual novel, like the dramaturgical sort of like staging and blocking stuff like that can help you with things like shot composition.
So there's another question. Thoughts on, hold on. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. Thoughts on collecting player metrics from games for finding out which choices players choose, which character routes people choose, etc. Has anyone looked into this, and what do we think about it? So, Telltale Games actually does this for their stuff, and I've helped a couple of people set up systems to collect data like that from players based on their choices. If you do it through the engine, you just need to be able to send that data off somewhere else to collect it. You can also use things like Steam's. You can use Steam's achievement system to kind of gather how many people are making certain choices. It does show you a percentage of how many people have a specific achievement, once they have your game. So that is one method you could do it without super making a bunch of like push to a separate server sort of deals. But you could definitely collect information from your players as they make choices by sending that information off to like a web server or something. I could actually show people how to set that up in a future thing. But it's actually not too bad. You can make post requests to a website that you own and do some really simple web service stuff to collect that information. And then you can even, hit a website that you own that collects that information, then displays it back to the players so they can even see their own stats. Super not hard to do. It's a little bit hard to maintain long term if you, have to pay for hosting forever. But most people don't have to do that. So I'm sure there's better solutions that are more long term than that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could just
Yeah.
mint it into the game after a certain point.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in adding that to the Run by Sync server, but as somebody mentioned, there is a bunch of like GDPR and things like that. So somebody can point me to like, good discussion of how about how GDPR and other privacy laws affect this.
I don't
That
believe
would help
usage
me.
statistics, as long as they're anonymous usage statistics, I don't think that counts.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just you have to detach it from the personal identifiable.
Yeah. You have to remove
Okay, so-
PPI basically, and that's it.
Yeah, and as long as it's just about stuff in the game, like you're not collecting anything about who the user is, just about like what buttons they clicked or what choices they made.
Mhm.
Okay, so just like lose the IP address and things. Like would like a randomly generated user ID count as PPI or would
Yeah, if you have the engine just generate
I mean, you can even just use like a primary key and just increment the key. You don't even need specific. It's a non-specific identifier, so I wouldn't even worry about it.
Okay. In that case, I'll probably go into the Run by Sync server at some point.
That's cool. It's a good idea.
Um,
Look at that. We're making progress. All right. Do we have another question? Is there a solo indie dev in the panel right now? I think most of us are indie devs. Yeah. How do you balance between coding, creating art, and everything between? I think. Okay. So you did say solo. I'm sorry. Do we have any solo devs who balance everything in here?
I know in the archives we've had a couple of talks about solo deving, so you can go look back in the archives for talks on that. I think at least one. I know of at least one, probably two.
I've
I
done
remember
art
Toasty
and
won a
coding
couple.
and
Oh,
sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
continue.
I knew if we
Okay.
waited long enough, more than one person would speak.
So on the solo indie dev question, I've done art, coding, and writing, but not, let's say, voice acting, composition, and the other stuff that goes into a game. And what I've found is that when I get burnt out of coding, I'll switch over to art, and when I stop liking drawing, I'll go back to coding or writing. I haven't had a specific structure on like, okay, so 3 hours of this, 3 hours of that, 3 hours of that. It's just I've done it based on feeling.
Yeah, I was gonna do. I totally agree with that. Like, if you're soloing and doing different roles, it's pretty nice to just be able to change gears if you're getting a bit burnt out on something. I think folks should also remember that there are a lot of resources out there. So if you're trying to solo a game, like it's totally fine to just go on DL site and get the Minical BG packs, and you can get away with drawing less BGs, so on and so forth. And yeah, also in general, I think even if you don't really want a solo game, having some experience doing that will give you a lot of insight onto what the roles that maybe your teammates would be doing if you end up deciding to direct the game. My cats are making noise and stuff. So like it's very useful as a project lead to also kind of know what everyone's like workflow would kind of be like from maybe like an amateur perspective still, but it'll help you actually know what to ask people to do and so on.
Okay. There's another question specifically for Tom. I don't know if he wants to answer this one, but so what do you have in store for us in terms of the RenPy demo is what they're asking. That feels like a spoiler, but
That's a spoiler. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Let's not do spoilers. You're gonna find out in a couple hours.
Honestly, I have a few ideas. I've been following the notes, so I'm excited.
All right. Well,
Also poking fun a little bit at some people, but I'm excited. Another question: recommendations for apps / software / programs to help with project management if you don't have a dedicated person for it. I know someone's got an answer for this one. No. Damn.
I mean, tools. I mean, really, a lot of people us use Sprint. Like, all right, so I did project management for localization stuff, but same deal. The fundamentals of project management is you have to figure out what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, right? And when it needs to be done, and how it all links together, and then you eventually convince people to get the things that need to be done on time, right? Like how a lot of people do it on spreadsheets because it's a little grid thing, and you just move things around. You've seen people do it Kanban boards, just sticky notes on a wall, and they just move it down the line. It is just being organized and keeping track of things. How you do that is very personal. I've seen it done 1,000 ways, and it works. And it doesn't work for me to do it some other person's way. It's just that my brain doesn't work that way, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's keep track of what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and bullying the right people to keep things on track. Right? And anyone else want to add to that?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I do project management and data things for my day job. And, there are lots of things that you can do in terms of like software packages and things for project management. Like there's all the Atlassian products like Jira. Some people use Miro, which is mostly just like Figma and like sticky notes on a board. There's other things like ClickUp and Monday, I think, that are similarly used for that stuff. But honestly, when it comes down to it, in my experience, it depends on what is actually useful and helpful for your team or for you if you're doing things solo. Like I tried early on, getting everyone to use like a Jira board, and the people that I was working with just weren't really familiar with how to do that. So rather than, like making everybody learn this thing that they didn't really understand, that was an extra time consuming part, I took the information that they needed and sort of like processed it down into little sticky notes that I could hand them about like, okay, here's the next thing that you're working on, and also like the things that it's going to impact if you need to like ask anybody else about stuff like that. Definitely a harder answer, just because it depends, and you've got to like adapt to the team and the project.
Yeah, I
I'll
totally
add-
that. Oh, sorry. Someone was going.
I'll just add that GitHub has a new projects feature that is, similar to like some of Jira's features, but is a lot lighter weight and probably a lot easier to help people learn to use than Jira. So check that out.
I agree. I think that GitHub's, if you want to do that, I actually don't recommend people getting into Jira if you like get into any of them. Like sometimes it works out, but yeah, what we were just talking about was GitHub actually has a way where if you've got your project hosted in GitHub, like you've got the repository up there, you can actually go and make an issue item that's like, here's a task that needs to be done. And then you can navigate some of the project management side of things there. And that can be helpful for teams or just solo if you want to keep track of like, oh, I need to resize this part of the UI, but I'm not working on that right now. So it's just going to live here as a sort of like post on this issue board, and then I can come back to it later when I'm able to.
They have that, but they also have now a new projects feature that's even one step beyond that, that like lets you have like a Kanban type board and move, things around it and things like that integrates with that. It's only been in like the last year or so. So if you haven't checked, that's something that's worth checking out.
Yeah, that is really nice. Kanban boards are pretty nice.
Yeah, I think my advice would be, a lot of these tools are designed for hyper waterfally enterprise situations. Like if you go deep into Jira, you're going to be like, I've got to estimate the size of my project, and I've got timelines.
Yeah.
Do not do any of that unless it adds value to your thing. You can kill yourself with red tape just because there's a box to check off in a thing. Like do the least that you can to get your job done, because
Mhm.
It's-
It's also, yeah, it really does come down to like what's useful for you and what's useful for your team, because an amazing fancy tool that your team does not use is like that does nothing for you, you know?
But at the same
Mm.
time, also like breaking it down to like small, like usually about a day of work, tasks and things like that, and being able to check them off is at least in my opinion very motivating. Be
Hmm.
it like closing issues or be it, I got this portion of a feature done today.
Yeah. Making just, like it's possible if you want to do project management to just make one list that says make the game, right? But that's harder to it doesn't provide you as much detail, and also it's not as rewarding because I like it when you can check off lots of little tiny
Yeah.
tasks and then you feel like you've done a whole lot.
Yeah. So, we actually have another question too here. I don't know how many people can actually answer this, but I have an answer for it. But Mal asked, what are some basic skills, generic or industry specific, you consider when hiring that you're still amazed some applicants lack? Does anybody else have any answers to this? Because I have an answer to it.
Communication. Please tell me if you can't get your work on time.
I knew Sheena would have something for it.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't get a chance to interject last time, but I will also talk about this type of stuff in my talk.
yeah. Um, for at least as far so there I have two answers to this. Um, First off, a lot of people, believe it or not, don't have portfolios for the stuff that they're professing to be experts in, which is really odd. And every time I see it happen, I am just flabbergasted. Um, so I know we encourage people of all skill levels to like post their stuff on recruitment and go for jobs and paid jobs. But there is like a certain expected minimum for people to be able to show that they can do the stuff that they're saying they can do. So I'm always surprised when like people don't have portfolios and stuff. So big. The other thing that I think this is something that everyone lacks. Well, not really everyone lacks, but a lot of people lack it: the ability to sell concepts to people, which is, I know sounds odd, but being able to sell yourself, convince other people that you're worth their time, or being able to sell any aspect of a product that you're selling to people, whether it's your skill or an output in labor, or it is, an actual game, a lot of people don't have this. And despite the fact that, it is extremely essential in almost every aspect of professional working for money life, next to no one has skills in it, which is insane to me. Dev Talk was founded with the idea that, we want to be able to make money with the stuff that we love doing so that we can keep doing it. And that led us down the path of, it's working on marketing principles and business stuff. So over the years, Dev Talk has developed resources for this sort of stuff. But despite all that, a lot of people don't really know how to sell themselves or shield themselves. They're still stuck on the hurdles of self-esteem or other things like imposter syndrome, and that really holds them down. So whenever someone comes to me and they, have a really hard time selling themselves to me on the thing that I'm asking someone to do, um, I try to help them sell me on the thing, which is so weird because it's like I'm trying to convince myself. But yeah, that's one of the things that always gets me is that they have no persuasive ability over the thing that they are pitching. That really sucks. The best way to get over that is to learn salesmanship techniques, honestly. Um, I'm super fond of it's actually not a great book for cultural reasons, but there's a little red book of selling, which gives you a bunch of stuff about actual sales tactics, which is mostly for like hard goods, but like a lot of the same concepts apply otherwise. Um, I also super recommend the negotiation handbook from the Harvard Business Review. Super good for, figuring out how to barter and negotiate your worth and value when you're doing stuff. So, also great for helping you price things on the store. So, of course, that led me down the path of which everyone disagrees with half the time, that $25 is a great entry point for an indie VN, but, whatever. A lot of people argue with me with that, but I don't care.
Do other people think it should be higher or lower?
Lower. A lot of people think it should be lower. A lot of consumers think it should be lower, which is upsetting, but they're my sales objections. That's not a bad thing to me, but I could talk for days about sales objections and the process of making sales. It's actually like when I was a salesperson, I didn't like doing it, but after I stopped being one, I was like, shit, I was actually pretty good at it. Um, I'm not going to talk about it more, but I could have an entire talk on it. If anyone else drops out, I'll talk about that.
All right. We got another 5 minutes, I believe. So we have 5 minutes left. Any last question?
Just a couple more in here.
I mean, it's a bunch.
I'm scrolling down to see if I can find them. Question: how do you deal with creative block? I can't seem to think of anything. My best tip for that is to open up something blank and just do something. It doesn't have to be inspired. It just has to be something. By doing something that is not the thing that you want to do, you're going to eliminate the total possibility of things that you're going to do, which is a good way to like figure out what you want to do. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. My only advice is like read something that's vaguely frustrating. Like a lot
Be
of
upset
times
about it and fix it.
Yeah. A lot of times some of my like most like my greatest motivation for projects has come from when I like read a thing that fails to execute the idea that it has, but I'm like, but I can see how I could do that. Yeah, read something vaguely frustrating.
Yeah.
On a
Totally.
similar thread, do something or listen to something that's very boring. I find that when I'm engaged in something that is just really dry, suddenly I'm creative again. So if you want, go on, I think MIT has free courses online. Load up like a physics class or intro to computer science, and then have that playing in the background and try to take notes on whatever the professor is saying. And then the creative juices will probably flow back into your brain.
I'd also say that, like, for me, there's a lot of like, well, I gotta want to at least do something every day. And a lot of times, like, once you make that transition into, well, even if I don't feel like it, I'm doing something. Once I've started working, oh, I'm getting things done, I'll keep going. So
At the end of it, a lot of it boils down to the sucky answer of exercise some willpower to do something, and then the inspiration will flow after.
yeah.
If you don't have willpower, then use the power of peer pressure by asking
Use
your
the
friends
power of
to
spite.
register with them.
Know that
Yeah,
people don't want you to succeed, and then act out of spite.
defiance is a
Oh.
great motivator.
It sure is.
Oh, and I have a friend who wants to start a VC fund, which specifically just to invest in companies that are started out of spite, because those are the ones that usually win out.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
They got the fire burning in them.
They sure do.
All right, we have 2 minutes left, and Bamboo, you're up anyway, so you might as well get your stuff set up so that you're all ready to go.
All right, let's
I want to mute.
let's get the screen shared.
All right, I see. All right, it's all yours.